Good night, Pablo, Juan Octavio. I'm opening the files. So in order, while I'm opening them, let's wait your classmates. As soon as I get them in order to share, we are going to start, okay?
Okay, good night.
Good night. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, perfect. Now we are more. Let me see, do you want to now? Okay, would you like to start now, or do you prefer to wait a little bit for your classmates?
We can wait.
Okay, perfect. Is that okay? 2 minutes more until 8 and 5? I think it's enough time. 5 minutes expecting your classmates, I think it's enough, okay?
Sure.
Okay, let me see. Can you watch my screen? Hello?
Yes, listen.
Okay, perfect. So let's go ahead. 8 and 5, enough time to get this class. Okay, tonight we are going to check a general view about signs and symptoms, bones, general view of bones, of course, joints and muscles. In this presentation, you are going to watch many details that are going to be present in the rest of the systems in order to make it easier to study and memorize the information. As you know, we have a blue guy in order to remind that it's an important slide. And then we have the red guy, the guy that is showing us the self-study homework, okay? So with all of this information, let's go. Let's talk about signs and symptoms. When we check this information, we must consider this detail. While talking to patients, patient describe to us, they describe to us some problems. I mean, they talk about symptoms, all the problems with the patient reports to the doctor, also called complaints. They have the chance to give us the information. They have the chance to tell the way they feel and how the words work on. On the other hand, we have the signs, all the findings that the doctor is looking for. I mean, all the signs, all the details we as doctors have to look for. In that order, it's possible to call them findings as a synonym. That's why while talking about patients, they tell us complaints. Talking between doctors, we talk about findings. For example, Mr. Gomez was admitted complaining of chest pain. Okay. Mr. Gomez was admitted telling symptoms about chest pain, for example. When we make the report, we must remember this. We use abbreviations a lot in medical English. It's like a rule to use abbreviations about pathologies, about ways to emphasize information maybe, or to make it simple to make the report, I mean. That's why we'll write it down in case of notes. If you see C/O, it means complain of, okay? Here you have the full term, but while writing down, you are going to see this abbreviation, and it's easier to catch the meaning, to make it faster, and make an abbreviated way to do this. Okay, so don't forget it. The whole course we are going to use this specific abbreviation. Talking about the presentation, well, this specific verb present, we must consider that when we talk with a patient, we talk in present tense, I mean at the moment. But when we go to the report, we make this report in past. I mean, the patient says, they went to see the doctor because they went in the past. And the doctor said, the patient presented. I mean, you are not evaluating the patient at the moment. The patient is not next to you, and it's not possible for doctors to evaluate, to check the patient in front of colleagues. At least it's a specific situation, right? That's why one doctor examines a patient, evaluates a patient, and while going to talk to colleagues, he presents the case. He presents the information, and he says the patient presented, for example, chest pain. The presenting symptom, I mean, is the situation why the patient is going to see the doctor. Okay. The presenting symptom is the most important part, is the complaint of situation. I mean, the main complaint, we can call it in another kind of report. And that's the most important part, the most important situation that the patient is talking about. We can say his presenting symptom was chest pain. Why in past? The same, because we evaluated in past the patient, and at the moment we are not making evaluation again. That's why we're talking patient in past about the patient. We also can say his presenting complaint was chest pain, okay? We also can say he presented to the GP with chest pain, or the usual presentation is chest pain. So you can see the situation, everything in past, every time in past, while talking about the patient, right? Talking about symptoms, well, this chart is very important. Why this blue guy is present? I'm going to call someone. Let me see. Andrea Alvarado, are you there? Can you listen to me?
Yeah, I can listen.
Great. Andrea, please, can you read this part, this part of this chart, please? Just the first block.
Okay, but I'm not sure about the pronunciation, but tiredness, lethargy, fatigue, and lassitude. That's the meaning is loss of energy. And the patient maybe say, I feel tired all the time. I feel completely worn out. Lately, I have been feeling completely exhausted at the end of the day.
Thank you. That's great. Good pronunciation. Don't worry about it. We're going to practice during the workshops this kind of details, pronunciation, maybe an expression, maybe that kind of specific words, okay? When we talk about patients, talk about symptoms with patients, they come to us with these expressions. I feel tired all the time. And while going to write down the report, we exchange this expression to the symptom, to the word in the medical terminology, the same as in Spanish. In Spanish, we have the specific situation. We must use quotation marks and write down the words of the patient, right? We must emphasize how the patient is talking about a specific situation, about the symptoms. We use the ear expressions. In English, no. In English, we use the medical terms all the time. I mean, that's the vocabulary for talking about colleagues between us, and then we have the chance to get in the correct and proper information. For example, I feel completely worn out. Worn out, of course, is not medical English, it's common English. So we have to choose which of these four, we can say synonyms, fits better to the patient situation. And then we use this report, okay? Another example, let me see who's there. Juan Octavio, can you listen to me?
Yes, yes.
Hi, Juan Octavio, please, this second block, can you read this part, please?
Okay. This is Malay's general feeling and beginning unwell. I feel unwell. I don't feel well. I've been feeling off color for 2 days. I haven't been feeling myself for a week. I've been out of shorts all day.
Thank you. So you can say, when we talk about malaise, we have all of these expressions, the most common ones. Of course, there are some more, but the most common ones, the ones that you're going to listen with patients are these ones as a general idea, we can say. So you have to be clear that you get the information in common English, in social English, and you have to translate to the medical term, okay? For example, about anorexia, of course, we know this is the loss of appetite, but patient could say, my appetite is very poor, or I've been off my food for days, right? So let's consider this chart complete, full, read all of them, and according to some doubts or maybe terms, We can talk about it tomorrow during the workshop, okay? Let's consider this. The verb feel is also used with other adjectives, always, such as hot, cold, nervous, anxious, dizzy, weak. For example, she said she felt dizzy. So let's consider these details, tips for talking properly or receiving the information properly, okay? Yeah, that's correct. And this, well, with the red guy, I'm showing you a list of symptoms according to the system. For example, in the musculoskeletal system, we have pain in extremities, back pain, joint pain, muscle soreness, or in the gastrointestinal symptoms, for example, vomiting, abdominal pain, nausea, abdominal bloating, diarrhea, constipation. Well, you can see all of these medical terms in order to catch more vocabulary. Please self-study, and tomorrow we can talk about pronunciation, meanings, details like that. We have one more here, you know, it's a lot of information. And the third one. Of course, there are some that are being repeated in these lists, but it's just for showing you in order to check the most common symptoms. We know that it's a lot of information and we cannot read all of this at the moment, okay? Talking about bones, well, this is a great chart we are going to use in all systems from this point. In this chart, we are going to check the structures, combining forms, I mean, how to prepare the word root and the vowel added in order to prepare the medical term. And of course, the functions for catching the correct vocabulary and catch more words that are going to be useful during this class, okay? I need a volunteer, please. I'm taking in count participation, guys. Okay, nobody. Hi, Dorian, can you listen to me? Okay, Dorian is not there.
Yes, I'm here. Sorry.
Okay, Dorian,
Yes.
thank you. So this chart is so easy to check. You check the major structure and the related combining forms. I mean the word root and the vowel, okay? Please read only these two columns. Primary functions is for you, for checking again at home, please, for not taking too much time. Go ahead, please.
Everything in order, like
The
how to
major
start it?
structure and then the related combining form, that's all.
Okay. Major structure, bones, related combining form, OC, OSI, osteo, oste. Am I right?
Yeah, perfect. That's great.
Bone marrow, it's myel. Also
Myel
means
and myelo. Yeah.
myelo. Also means spinal cord. Cartilage. Am I pronouncing it
Cartilage.
wrong?
No, cartilage.
Cartilage. Okay. Also known as a related combined form, chondro.
Right.
Joints, arthro, ligaments, ligamental, synovial membrane, synovi, synovo,
Yeah. Synovial.
synovo. Okay,
Mhm.
synovial fluid, synovial, synovo.
Yeah.
And burso.
Okay, great. Thank you. So you can see you have the chance to check the major structure and how to construct the medical term. That's why this grammar chart is going to be useful in order to write down properly and catch easily the meaning about the med term you're reading. Of course, primary functions is for catching the vocabulary, the proper one, for being well prepared according to the exactly words we should use, okay? This is a similar chart, but we have more details, the word parts and the meaning of them. For example, ankle or ankylo, crooked, bent, or stiff, right? arthro and joint, chondro or chondro, cartilage, cost or costal, rib. You see, it's easy to catch. It's similar to Spanish. It's possible to make it easier. That's why I'm showing these slides to you. And well, the ones who come to the presentation are going to receive the slides. For example, hypendesis, I mean a suffix, to bend, to tie together, kif or kifo, bend or hump, lord or lordo, hypenlysis, myel, myelo, os, osi, osto, osteo, scoli, scolio, spondilo or spondilo, synovi or synovo, or hypen singular noun ending, you know, cranium, right? It's easy to catch, just practicing. Moreover, we are going to have these anatomical reviews. These anatomical reviews are a general structure about the specific parts of an organ. I mean, in this case, it's a bone. We are checking the articular cartilage, the red bone marrow, the spongy bone that contains the red marrow, medullary cavity, the artery, the compact bone tissue, endosteum, yellow bone marrow, and the periosteum. Of course, the proximal epiphysis, diaphysis, and distal epiphysis, right? Then the list for checking, for making a review is for you, for catching the correct way to write it down in English. And now we have this self-study chart. The same as our perfect guy in the previous class, we have the skeletal one. Everything is in English, nothing in Latin. I prefer to use this, but you have in parentheses the common term, I mean the social term, in order to catch the way how patients refer about this structure. For example, the forearm is the ulna and the radius, right? The hip bone, the pelvic girdle, ilium, pubis, and ischium. So let's consider this in order to practice, to review, to check. It's complete, in my opinion. There are the most important parts, the common ones to check at least. But if we want to check small details, ask for them. I can send you extra information, okay? This self-study guide is showing us that this chart is going to be in homework, is going to be in the final test, so take it into account. Let's go to these details, common names. When we talk about common names, I mean for all structures, all parts in the body, inner and external. That's the way that the patients describe and how the anatomical name we must translate. The same as with the symptoms. We all know this. Patients can come to us and tell us something about, for example, I got pain in my ribs. Of course, no, you have to use the correct proper while talking to colleagues or writing down the report. So let me ask for someone. Jimena, are you there? Can you listen to me? Jimena. Okay, she's not there. Mariel, can you hear me? Can you listen to me?
Yes.
Hi, Mariel. Please, can you read this slide, please?
The both of them?
Yeah.
Okay, common name is skull, anatomical name cranium. Jackbone, mandible. I don't know. Spine, vertebral column. Breastbone, sternum. Rib, costa. Collarbone, clavicle. Shoulder blade, scapula. Thigh bone, femur. Kneecap, patella. Shin bone, tibia.
Okay. Jawbone, mandible. Okay. That's okay. That's great. Good job. So this is just a small part and a small group of common names, but they are the easiest ones, I mean. Okay. Okay, let's talk about one of the most common situations when we're talking about bones. Fractures, okay? Of course, we know it's the breaking a bone. we must consider the pathological fracture is a fracture in a diseased bone. I mean, a bone with osteoporosis, for example, is a pathological fracture. Or could be, for example, another one, the fatigue or stress fracture is due to repeated minor trauma, for example, while long distance marching or running. Easy to check in elderly or people with osteoporosis so high, okay? Now you have the typical bone fractures, the classification, of course, in order to check how they are written down. For example, the green stick, the spiral, comminuted, transverse, compound, and compression. Okay, common ones. We all know about it. When patients come to us, they use these expressions to talk about a fracture. Doctor, I had a finger fracture. They're not going to show you in the second phalange. No, of course, it's not going to happen. Doctor, there's a skull fracture, for example, could be. Of course, our technicians, some healthcare providers could use the same way of talking, but it's very common to check. Between colleagues, of course, it's easy to see. For example, the rib and clavicle fracture, doctor, see this thorax. So that's the way we can get in expressions that maybe sound not too technical, we can say, not too complicated, okay? Or the patient has a thigh fracture, for example, could be said. It's just for showing that again, we use the same common names to refer to these structures, the pathological situations. Now we have some X-rays to consider some specific fractures. For example, the green stick fracture, very common in kids and teens, right? We have the cortical break, the radius, then the ulna, and then we have the buccal. The buccal is that structure that gets an inflammation. That's the opposite part from the broken part of the bone, showing us that this situation is present, okay? Again, the choke stick fracture, this is small ball, this is the buccal. The choke stick fracture is very common in elderly, of course we know about it. And then the compression fracture, you can see the difference between the vertebrae and how it is shorter. Okay, just for showing, just for sharing extra information, I think it's important. Or for example, this is stress fracture. This is the fracture, you check the buccal, right? The inflammation zone around the bone, that's the buccal, I mean. Healing bone process is just for extra information, just for showing you that there is lots of specific vocabulary in order to improve the way to talk. Extra information, just read it in order to catch more vocabulary, okay? That's the same process while talking in more detail. For example, the hematoma formation, the soft callus formation, the hard callus formation, and the bone remodeling. Just extra is for reading for you to catch proper vocabulary and way of expression. This is an example of a pathological fracture during burning. I mean, when a baby burns in podalic position, we have this risk, a bone fracture, of course, and we can check the whole healing process. Now, how it happens so easy in a baby, just for reading, it's for you. Talking about the treatment of fractures, we know that we have specific words to use. Okay, specific expressions. So, taking them in count, let's check. For example, when the fragment, when the fragments of a broken bone heal and join together, they unite. We replace the bones, we reduce the fracture on its position and they unite, okay? Union may be promoted or helped by reducing the fracture. I mean, placing again or replacing the fragments in the anatomical position, okay? So these are specific words, these specific terms that are in capital letters and black and words are showing us that they are important and we should memorize them. After a reduction, excessive movement of the broken bone is prevented by a fixation. I mean, this is the fixation, this is the fixation. Either external, like this, or for example, a splint or a plate and screws. This is the plate and they are the screws. This is the splint, the cast, yeah. A displaced fracture which is not reduced may result in malunion. We know this, pathological heel bone process, right? Incomplete or incorrect union. For example, the complications, we said malunion and non-union. Okay, it happens, we all know about it. And now we must check the difference between the cast and splint just for extra information. The cast is the full structure that is involving all the limb that is broken. And the splint is just this structure that it's easy to remove, easy to replace, that you can place it on the land and the place on the field when the patient is being attended at the beginning. Instead of a cast, the cast really needs to be placed in a well-prepared area with a well-trained professional, not for anybody, okay? We know about it. The splint is for not too long time. The cast really needs more time to complete the process they are supporting, right? During my presentations, you are going to check some jokes, some comics, just details in order to make it nice. Okay, so it's for you, for breaking the ice, okay? Talking about joints, also known as articulations, place of union between two or more bones. We all know about it, easy to catch. The anatomical landmarks are all of them. Again, self-study. All the anatomical landmarks that I place in the slides are in English. Specific details that could come in Latin, I'm going to show you, but if you find one, that's great. There's no trouble on this. Going to the general view of joints, we must consider the fibrous joints, the cartilaginous joints, and the synovial joints. I mean, the fibrous joints are inflexible layers of dense connective tissue and hold the bones tightly together. For example, the fontanelles, or in the common way in English, soft spots, just in newborns. We all know about it. In adults, the soft spots get closed and becoming sutures. The sutures in adults, we all know about it. About cartilaginous joints, we all know about it. It allows only slight movement, bones connected entirely by cartilage, we all know about it. For example, ribs connected to the sternum, this is the cartilaginous, And the pubic symphysis, we all know about it, just for making a refreshing idea, right? And the synovial joint allow a variety of motions, articulate or come together, right? We all know about it. That are structures that really are in movement, and we need them for doing everything, yeah. Again, the anatomical review, the landmarks you should check in order to catch the correct way to give this expression. Self-study, please read this chart. I think it's easy to catch, easy to emphasize the difference between joints, okay? This is extra information, is the difference between tendon, ligament, and cartilage, okay? So let me see. Laura Yawita, can you hear me? Can you listen to me?
Yes.
Yes, can you read this slide, please?
Okay. A tendon. A tendon is a band of tissue that connects muscle to bone. Tendons are inelastic and taut. Types connective tissue. Function, it connect end of the muscles to any place of the bone. The old slide, right? Teacher, the old slide?
Laura, yes, please, the whole slide.
Okay. Okay. A ligament definition. A ligament is an elastic band of tissue that connects bone to bone and provides stability to the joint. Nature, ligaments are elastic and strong. Types, connective tissue. Function, it connects bones to bones at joints. Cartilage definition. Cartilage is a soft gel-like padding between bones that protects joints and facilitates movement. Nature, cartilages are stiffer than ligaments. Types, skeletal tissues. Function, it protects bones and stops them from knocking together by acting as a cushion in between bones.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you so much. So you can see easy vocabulary, easy to check, but maybe the expression is different because we are describing an anatomical function. Okay, so let's practice on this. Thank you. Okay, this chart, the pathologies, yeah, pathology of the skeletal system and joints in this case. When we study a system, I decided to prepare this chart in order to show the most common pathological situations as a list, in order to practice maybe pronunciation if we want during the workshop, and to check how they are written down in English. And that's why it's important to read this. Some homework files have a mixed part of pathologies, and then you have to classify. That's why it's important to check this, okay? It's for you. During joints, we consider ankylosis, arthrosclerosis, bursitis, chondromalacia, chondroma, costochondritis, hallux valgus, hemarthrosis, polymyalgia rheumatica, synovitis, dislocation or luxation, rheumatoid arthritis, osteoarthritis, gory arthritis. Talking about the spinal column, we check the herniated disc, lumbago, spondylolisthesis, spina bifida, scoliosis. In bones, we specifically check cranial stenosis, fibrous dysplasia, ostealgia, osteitis, osteomalacia, osteomyelitis, osteonecrosis, Paget's disease, periostitis, rickets, short stature, Talipes, tumor bones, osteoporosis, osteopenia. About fractures, the situations, the most common one, the fat embolus, the crepitation, and the callus. Just a general view of them. Of course, there are some more situations, lots of situations in these structures, but this is a list that I consider is important, is common, right? And now we have this chart that is very important. In order, I was telling you that we have the chance to talk in English with abbreviations. I'm showing you these common abbreviations about the skeletal system at this point. We get, for example, the bone density testing, the BDT just. In the report or in the, during the studies, I don't know, you're going to check lots of abbreviations. With this list, it's easy to catch. For example, for osteoporosis, OP. That's enough. For fracture, FX, similar to Spanish, right? For example, total hip arthroplasty, THA. That's the way they write down in the report, and we have to be clear that we don't really need to memorize all of these situations, all of these abbreviations, but we have to be clear. If I find an abbreviation, I must get into the context, but if I don't remember this, it's not a mistake to check a note or to look for on the internet for not making a mistake, right? Some of them you're going to check during the classes that some abbreviations use the same capital letters in many situations. That's why I tell you it's according to the context. We have to be clear on this. Okay, let's talk about muscles. Talking about muscles, again, we have the chart, the structures and combining forms and functions. Pablo, can you hear me? Can you listen to me?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi, can you read the major structure and related combining forms, please?
Okay. Major structures, muscles, related combining forms, musculo, myo or myoso, fascia, fascio, fascio or fascio, tendons, ten or teno, tent or teno, tendon or tendino.
Thank
Just
you.
that or primary functions too?
Just that. Primary functions is for you at home. Fascia is in Spanish. In English, fascia.
Fascia. Okay.
Yes, fascia and fascio. Or fascio. According to the situation, you can change the pronunciation, of course, following the grammar rules, right? But it's fascia and fascio. Okay.
Thanks.
And thanks to you, Pablo. So you can see. Check this is for you the primary function. Of course, I'm going to take it in count during homework for describing some functions. Look for these primary functions. It's useful. So useful. Okay, we have the word parts again. The same situation. We have now prefix. We know that it's a prefix because we have a hyphen at the end. We have a suffix, we know the hyphen at the beginning, and we have the word part, the word root, right? For example, B, we know it's twice double too, we know about it, the biceps, yeah? For example, cele, hernia, tumor, or swelling. For example, hydrocele. This could be bad, difficult, or painful. For example, dyspnea, difficulty way of breathing, or dysplasia, we know about it. Fasci or fascio, fibro. Aya, I mean hyphen aya, abnormal condition, or the plural form ium. The IC, IKEA, pertaining to kinds or kinesio, mayo, pleasure, rexis, tax or taxo, teno, tendo, tendino, ton or tono, and tree, yeah, you know about it. Please check this. It's going to be useful using this for writing down and checking the meaning of the term. Going to the anatomical review and checking the specific structure of the muscular system about a muscle. We got this chart checking how it goes until the smallest structure, checking the bands, checking the zones. It's just a review for you in order to catch the correct vocabulary and the properly way to talk about. Okay. And now that's the difference that we were checking previously, how a tendon is placed, connect muscle to bone, and how ligaments are connecting bone to bone. Anatomical tip, easy to memorize. And now let's check the types of muscles, okay? These tissues are, of course, different. We all know we got 3. And let me see. Elena, can you hear me? Elena Jacqueline, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
here.
Thank you. Can you read this slide, please?
More or less. Skeletal muscle.
Yeah.
Well, here we have the summary or the picture do you want?
The summary, please.
Okay. Attached to bones, make possible body motions, voluntary muscles. We have conscious control over this muscle, also known as striated muscle, stripped. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
We know the skeletal muscle. We really have lots of this, yeah. Very common. We know it's just the specific vocabulary to refer about it. I mean, I summarize, as your colleague says. Yum, 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 yum. I'm gonna call Diana. Can you hear me? Diana Stephanie.
Hi, yes. It's just that I'm driving right now, so I'm just listening to the class.
Okay, don't worry, don't worry. Continue driving. That's great.
Sorry, thank you.
Okay. Laura Peredo, are you there?
Yes, teacher.
Hey, great. Can you read this slide, please? Summarize.
Okay. Located in the walls of internal organs such as the digestive tract, blood vessels, and ducts leading from glands. They move and control the flow of fluids through these structures. Involuntary muscles, they are under control the autonomic nervous system, also known as unstriated muscles, visceral muscles. And in the image, we can see the smooth muscle with the nucleus, the cell fiber membrane, and the spindle-shaped fiber.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So you can see it's going to be useful, easy to describe now a smooth muscle. And now we get the myocardial muscle. Okay, the autonomic one. Okay. Well, with the myocardial muscle, we have also known as myocardium or cardiac muscle from the muscular walls of the heart. I'm sorry. For the muscular walls of the heart, involuntary muscles, it is the constant contraction and relaxation that cause the heartbeat. In appearance, look like a straight skeletal muscle. We all know about it. We check the branching of fiber, the A fiber, the centrally located nucleus, of course, and the striations, the cross stripes that are making possible this kind of movement, okay? Motion. Yeah. So with these descriptions, I think it's easier to talk about muscles in general. And now we have this idea talking about contrasting muscle motion. I mean, we know that we have flexion and extension, and we have the chance during the career to analyze movement and then see which muscle is relaxed and which muscle is contracted. For example, if tricep is contracted, the biceps must be relaxed in order to allow this movement. And in the opposite situation, the triceps is relaxed and the biceps are contracted in order to make the flexion, okay? Just a review, just the way to show how to explain this movement, the contrasting muscle motion, okay? Another movement that we should consider is the pronation and the supination. Then we have the dorsiflexion and the plantar flexion. In order to analyze these opposite movements, just for checking the motions, for describing them properly. And well, I think it's a good way to make a refreshment at the moment, right? Now we have the abduction and the adduction. We have the rotation and then the circumduction. Here we are considering the capability of the joints according to the classification we were checking in previous slides, and then how muscles are helping to move the structure, the full one. Just for practicing, for catching the correct way to write down these terms that we know we use a lot during the medical speech or medical reports. And now we have this guide, anatomical review, the big one. In this slide, I'm showing you the most common muscles, the superficial ones. Some of them are in Latin at this point, some of them are in English, in the same way that I was explaining you in the first presentation. And then you have the chance to read all of this in detail and study, because this chart is going to be into the homework files from this week. So I think it's easy to memorize because they are the most common ones, the biggest ones with the huge movement, okay? Now checking this specific information. I'm sorry. We must consider the medical specialties related to the muscular system. I mean, specific doctors that work on this system according to the specific situation, right? I need a volunteer who would like to read a little bit of this. Hi, are you there? Perfect, Pablo, go ahead. Pablo was the first.
All?
Yes, Pablo, read exercise pathologist and neurologist.
Okay.
And then give me a second, please, Pablo. And then Laura, you can read the physiatrist and the sports medicine physician, okay? Let's divide the slide. Go ahead, Pablo, we are listening to you.
Okay. An exercise physiologist is a specialist who works under the supervision of a physician to develop, implement, and coordinate exercise programs and administer medical tests to promote physical fitness. A neurologist is a physician who specializes in treating the causes of paralysis and similar muscular disorders in which there is a loss of function.
Thank you. Laura, go ahead, please.
A physiatrist is a physician who specializes in physical medicine and rehabilitation with the focus on restoring function. Rehabilitation is restoration following disease, illness, or injury of the ability to function in a normal or near normal manner. A sports medicine physician specializes in treating sports-related injuries of the bones, joints, and muscles.
Thank you so much. You can notice here this detail in parentheses is the pronunciation. Thank you for emphasizing this. In order I find the specific pronunciation of a word, I'm going to send the same, okay, for ensuring that it's easy to make it. And some slides have these details, some of them no. I mean, please understand me if I didn't write I didn't write down all the pronunciations, but I'm going to help in that way. So checking these specialties that are related, we can consider more ways to expression, I mean, okay? Thank you. And then we have the pathologies. Again, the chart that I was telling you that it's important. Again, the blue guy for studying this. Talking about fibers, fascia, and tendons, we have all of this list. For example, fasciitis, fibromyalgia syndrome, tenosynovitis, tendinitis, chronic fatigue syndrome. You know, very common situations. About muscle disorders, we get addition, atrophy, myalgia, myolysis, myorexis, polymyositis, sarcopenia. About the muscle tone, we got atonic, dystonia, hypotonia. About the muscle movement, ataxia, contracture, intermittent claudication, spasm, cramp, spasmodic torticollitis. About the muscle function, myoclonus, myasthenia gravis, muscular atrophy. About the sports injuries, sprain, strain, Achilles tendinitis, iliotibial band syndrome. Repetitive stress disorder, for example, the compartment syndrome, overuse injuries, overuse tendinitis, myofascial pain syndrome, rotator cuff injuries, carpal tunnel syndrome, ganglion cyst, epicondylitis. You know, there's a lot of pathologies, lots of them, but some of them are a good way to start doing this. Remember, never give up. Great things take time, right? All of these situations are common, an easy way to talk about it. So let's consider this, okay? Let me send you the poll to take attendance, please. We are 11. Let me check. Yes. Yeah. Please fill the poll. While you are filling the poll, I'm gonna upload to the Zoom chat the slides. Okay, 9 of 10, I need one more. Who's not feeling this? Well, if someone is not feeling the pool, the institution is going to take this session as an absence. Please take it in count. Can you all watch the pool?
Esa tarea me voy a... grabar ya la explicación. ¿Aló?
Hi, Elena.
Hola. ¿Ya mandado?
Yeah, can you watch the pool, Elena?
Estoy en eso. Estoy volviendo a ingresar, no me acepta. Pero...
Okay, please, let's try
Porque me sacaron de la reunión, yo dije, habrá acabado.
No,
estoy
nobody
ingresando.
take you out. Nobody take you out. I got the
Sí,
power.
ya. A ver, ingresaré y le aviso. ¿Ya?
Okay.
Ya está.
Anyway, I sent to the Zoom chat the presentation. Please download it and let me know that you get it. Okay. While taking it, you can leave. We finished.
Y me sale, desea unirse a una nueva reunión, dice. Santi.
No.
Abandonar y unirse, dice. Y cancelar,
No.
no entiendo.
Thanks, bye.
Okay, bye.
¿Me has mandado?
Give me a minute, Elena, to explain you how to do it.
A ver.
Okay, please let me know you get it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ay, eso de atender 3 reuniones, qué barbaridad. Che. Aquí me estoy llegando.
Great. The ones you get the slides can leave the session. See you tomorrow in the workshop. Thank you so much.
¿Dónde me has enviado?
Hi,
Hijito.
Jacqueline, Elena, can you hear me?
No me riñas, estoy en 3 reuniones, ¿sabes lo que es eso? No tengo, pues aquí estoy en este. Me he olvidado y estaba queriendo entrar. ¿Dónde está?
No, ahí pues mamá.
¿Dónde me has mandado?
Elena, can you hear me?
¿No hay otro grupo?
Este es el curso, pero estoy ahorita en una reunión.
Entonces no vas a poder ingresar. ¿Cómo vas
Y
a
ahora
ingresar con 2 rooms?
me saldré de este. ¿Sí?
Elena, can you hear me?
No puedes usar 2, ¿no?
Me estoy
Elena,
saliendo. A ver,
Jacqueline.
ya vos llenámelo. Ahí mándamelo. Hijo, mándamelo ahí.
No, todavía, se ha explicado el chico, mamá. Mandado, no acabado.
Ah, ya. A ver, ingrésamelo, Claudita, de ahí. ¿O no? Ay, me voy a
Elena, can
salir.
you hear me? Hi, Elena.
Sí, estoy enloqueciendo, ya estoy con 3.
Elena, Jacqueline, can you hear me? Yuhu, yuhu. Elena.
Ahorita me voy a grabar, me vas a ayudar. Ya así nomás ya lo voy a explicar y que me importa. ¿Cómo se grababa?
Well, Elena, I think you are not hearing me, but okay, let's stop with this.
Sorry, Iris.
Hi, Elena, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, sorry.
Okay, let me see. Did you fill the pool? Your attendance
Yes,
is done?
I sent you. Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Okay.
So
Thanks.
did you download the slides, right, from the Zoom chat? I posted it.
You sent me, and I did that.
No, it's into the chat. I send it to the chat. Can you watch this, or it's not possible to make it?
No, I can't see.
It's at the beginning of the chat.
Okay.
Did you get it, or it's not possible to make it?
Yes, I can see that. Medical English for this document?
Yes, medical English B number 2, right?
Yes.
Yes, that's the grade.
Okay.
It's a PDF, right?
I can't open that. Only I can see that.
Try to
Only like a
download.
title or something like that.
Can you download it? The file?
I'm going to try.
Try to do it. If it's not possible to make it, we are going to find a solution, okay?
No, I can't.
Okay, I'm gonna send it to your WhatsApp in some minutes, okay?
Okay, okay. Thank you.
For
Thank
not
you.
missing this opportunity.
Okay, thank you. That's all right?
Yes, that's all. We can leave the
Okay.
session. Thank
Okay,
you for your
bye.
presence.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for your attendance.
Thank you to you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, Jimena, I'm closing all of this. Thanks for your attendance. I don't know if you filled the poll. I don't know if you got the slides. Well, anyway, I expect